I'ma keep winning, winning. I'ma keep winning, winning. Ooh. I'ma keep winning, winning. You can try to save yourself, but you only go.
What's going on, guys? Jake Ham back on another video, and today I'm going to be doing my prospect breakdown on Armand Membou, the tackle slash guard from the University of Missouri, who's been playing right tackle mostly. But before we get into it, please make sure to like the video and comment down below any takes that you agree or disagree with, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll be bringing out future NFL content, whether it's on the Super Bowl, the NFL playoffs, the NFL Combine, NFL Draft, free agency, Senior Bowl stuff, anything like that. So please make sure to subscribe to follow the channel for the future videos that I'm going to be putting out. So Armand Membou, he mostly plays right tackle for Missouri. He kind of got flipped around to left and right most of this season. And he was second team All SEC this year. Most of the people he's projected around middle to end of the first round. Seattle is a popular spot for him to go. And there could be some other teams up there that he could potentially rise up. Most of the time with this draft class this year, a lot of these tackles are seen as guards because they're shorter arms and shorter height. In my opinion, I think that this is the most like out of these tackles that is going to play guard. A lot of people, Daniel Jeremiah, compared him to Elijah Vera Tucker a couple years ago, who's played guard for the New York Jets, that definitely has the ability to play tackle, that went about at 12, 13 overall in the draft a couple of years ago, and has been an Pro Bowl guard and has bumped out the tackles in certain injury situations. I think that's pretty similar and pretty fair, but Daniel Jeremiah, I definitely do see the similarities, and I think if he is going to play in the NFL, I think he could be an all-pro guard, and he definitely has the ability, or he could be a serviceable tackle that does play pretty well in certain situations if needed to be asked of him for a certain team. But I think mostly he is definitely going to have most of his successful career at guard and where he's going to be filling it at. So with Armand Membou, some of his strengths and weaknesses, he's definitely, we're going to start out with the strengths. He has an incredible first step. If you look in his pass protection off the ball, he is so quick off the ball. He has an amazing speed off that first step with that first kick step that he has to be able to beat defenders. And most of the time, if you see that quick kick step, a lot of times they end up getting too much depth or they end up oversetting the defender. He does a great job of getting that first quick quick step straight off the kick step straight off the ball and being able to pretty much stay squared to the defender and keep that middle foot down the middle of the defender with whenever he plays, and it definitely shows. And most of the time he's forcing them to make a decision. If they pretty much try to bounce outside, he does a great job of staying in front of them and staying balanced to pretty much just run them out. Or he does a very great job of stale walling a lot of the defenders when they try to either bull rush them. He does a great job of sitting down, not giving up a lot of depth. Now, every once in a while, he does kind of get pushed back into the quarterback and creates that pressure for the Missouri quarterback to have to scramble. But most of the time, he's doing a great job of really anchoring down and stonewalling the defender so he doesn't get pushed back and creates a pretty clean pocket. So that pretty much goes with his first step. Also, he does a great job whenever they try to pretty much either make any move on the inside. He cuts it down. Unlike Will Campbell, what you've seen, Will Campbell definitely struggles when people try to make a inside move on him, and he pretty much oversets them. Not Membou. He does a great job with his initial first step off the ball. Secondly, he recovers well in pass pro. His pass pro is definitely, in my opinion, the best part of his game. Sometimes in the run game, he can get a little bit lazy and not as physical, but his pass pro is amazing. Along with that incredible first step that we looked at, he has a incredible recovery skills. If somebody ends up getting him off balance or kind of he does end up oversetting someone and giving them a little bit of the inside, he does an amazing job of posting down on his inside foot to be able to seal that off. Or if he's off balance on the edge when somebody's trying to bend around him, he does an amazing job of keeping his balance and resetting his feet and his hands on the defender to be able to pretty much stay in front of him and keep his hands on them so that they're not getting to the quarterback, where he can pretty much push them out and allow the quarterback to step up into the pocket. So his recovery skills, whenever he's in an awkward situation or put himself in a bad situation in pass pro, he recovers very well and he's very nimble in that aspect. Thirdly, with his strengths, he is a great outside zone run blocker. A lot of times when he's at right tackle, they're usually running outside zone to his side, and you can definitely see it when you're running outside zone. You want to attack that defender's outside shoulder and get that seal on him. And he is since he's so quick off the ball and he uses that quickness so well, he fires straight off and he usually gets to the point of attack. And if he doesn't get to the point of attack, he does a great job just creating movement to where the defender is at least going to get 2 or 3 yards or even create the cutback lane for him. But they're usually running to his side on the outside zone after running it. And we'll have a couple clips here in a little bit to kind of look at some of his amazing ability to pretty much fire off the ball and get that reach block on the edge player whenever he's able to fire off. Next, he definitely does seal off the defenders. This goes with that outside zone piece. Whenever we're trying to outside zone him, he does a great job of turning his butt and getting to that point of attack so that he can end up sealing them off. But also, whenever he's backside and trying to create an inside gap, he does an amazing job of pretty much stepping inside and sealing off that inside defender and pretty much just making a wall on that backside so there's no leakage or nobody can run down the play. He does a great job of protecting his inside gap when he's backside and pretty much seals off anybody that he wants to whenever he's stepping on the inside when there's anybody trying to chase down a play. Lastly, his great balance and pass sets. This goes with his recovery skills. He has a great frame and technique in his pass sets. Like I said earlier, with it being one of the best assets of his game, he definitely keeps a well balancedness to his pass sets, and he almost never is caught leaning forward. And against an Alabama, whatever that's the game film that we're going to be looking at mostly, against Alabama and in this game against South Carolina, even though I don't have any clips, he pretty much almost never gets beat on pass pro. And I don't even know if he even allowed any pressures this year. It's probably a stat I should have looked at, but with it, he definitely does a great job of just staying balanced and whichever way they want to go, just getting his hands on them and stonewalling them and the defender. So those are most of his strengths. Great pass pro, and amazing outside zone blocking. Pretty much his weaknesses, though, whenever he's asked on like an inside zone or something like that, he definitely leans a lot in his run fits. So whenever he tries to go in to run block, he a lot of times he kind of gets swiped down and falls over because he's leaning forward so hard. As an offensive lineman, don't get me wrong, you definitely need to lean forward and pass pro and get your feet moving. But he does it a little bit too much and gets off balance by leaning too far forward because you don't want to lean too far forward because then a lot of times the defender is just going to sideswipe him, which what happens in a couple of these clips at Alabama. A defender pretty much he's firing off the ball, leaning too much, and as soon as he even gets close to the defender just sideswipes him and then moves out of the way, and then he's falling forward onto the ground, even though he's trying to get that initial push. Secondly, sometimes when he's driving his feet, he has a great initial first step and makes great contact, but he stops his feet a lot whenever he's trying to drive in the run game, whenever he's run blocking. Whenever he kind of gets stalemated, he almost just stops his feet and just sits there with them instead of trying to keep moving them and create that movement that he needs to do in the run game. He pretty much just doesn't drive his feet all the way to his potential throughout the game. He pretty much takes like 4 or 5 steps and then he stops if he's not moving the guy. And it's pretty much just a stalemate at the line of scrimmage, which creates for a lot of either negative runs at the NFL level because they're just gonna get past you if you don't move your feet how you should. Or it's just going to create a lot of tackles to the line of scrimmage, and you're not going to be getting that 3, 4 yards that you're looking for every single time you run the ball. Thirdly, he definitely needs to play more physical. He has a little bit of physicality. He's not the least physical guy I've seen, but I definitely feel like I should see a little bit more physicality from him, definitely in the run game. He's not the least physical guy in this draft class, but he definitely needs to play with a little bit more anger and looking to finish his blocks. His finishing his blocks definitely is what hurts him. He, like I said, the initial fit that he has, he does a great job just firing off the ball and getting where he needs to. He just doesn't put anybody into the ground and finish his blocks. He just sometimes, just pulls up or stops, playing to the point. He needs to get that more gritty mindset of being able to put some guys in the ground. Nextly, he sometimes plays lazy. This goes with his physicality and kind of what I said. Sometimes he doesn't really, just fire like go to the best of his ability. If he doesn't make the initial block, he doesn't keep working to try to get to that point. He kind of just stops and is lazy at some points in some plays and kind of takes some plays off. That's the only questionable part to him, honestly, in my opinion. He's very he's has a lot of technique and very sound in that aspect. It's just that if he's not getting the initial win on a play, he's kind of, just gonna play it easy and just kind of stalemate with the guy. And then lastly, he needs to create more movement. Like I've said, whenever he does get stalemated, he kind of plays lazy and he doesn't have that physical aspect to him. If he gets the initial push, yeah, he's working up to the second level and he's firing off and he's getting 3 yards worth of movement. But if he doesn't get that initial push, he gets stalemated a lot and then he kind of just quits. And whenever he does work up to the second level, sometimes he does have a little bit of trouble pretty much locking up with that second level defender, especially the linebackers. He gets to the point, but sometimes he definitely needs to have a better fit into that. And that kind of goes with his laning a lot. So, because whenever you're having a linebacker, you definitely need to be more balanced because the linebacker's very quick and you need to get his hands on him in certain situations. So with him, that's pretty much a lot of it. With his ability to pass it, if he can just refine that run game, he's gonna be a very good player. And I think the way he moves and his quick feet and his pass sets, I think he's gonna be a great guard to the next level. And the way that he's able to pretty much get that initial movement, if someone can just kind of light that fire under him and an offensive line coach in the NFL and get on him a little bit more to be able to finish his blocks and show him to bring his hips with him to be able to put guys into the ground, I think he's going to be a great guard for whatever team that's going to end up drafting him. But looking at some of these clips, so here, obviously, all these clips are in the Alabama game. In the South Carolina game that I watched, he had a lot. He had a great game against South Carolina, and he's pretty much played right tackle this whole year. So here he's going to be this number 79 on the right side, and here's just one of his pass sets. That he has a great job of that initial first step that we're looking at. If you look at it, he's pretty much firing off the ball before everyone else in most of these situations. So looking at this, just look at his initial first steps. He's already moved and he has pretty much his kick foot in the middle of his defender. And as soon as his defender that tries to break outside, he's pretty much there with his hands on him, pretty much stonewalling him because he pretty much stops him right here. He gets chipped by the running back. He gets a little bit of running back help, but he's pretty much sitting down when that defender tries to come back to the inside. And there's not much that he could do with that defender since he's pretty much got his hands on him, he's got him wrapped up. The defender's not going to be able to do anything when he tries to come back to the inside and post down on him. And he's just pretty much sealed off, and that's 3 seconds and the ball's out. That's pretty much all you need. That's a great example of his great initial pass set because as soon as he gets off the ball here, he's already moving and the ball's not even snapped. He has a great jump. He's already pretty much there. That initial first step that he has might be the best in this draft. And that just makes it, especially with his recovery skills, his pass sets are something to pretty much be, looked at as a first round pick. So looking at this next play, this is going to be a little bit of example of this outside zone. So he's going to pretty much seal this for the running back and get where he needs to. He's right here. He does have a little bit of advantage here as the right tackle. He's pretty much going to be working to the next level to pretty much get where he needs to and then climb. So he's actually right here and he's going to seal it off and pretty much get this movement for this guy. So this running back can pretty much get to the edge right here. So as soon as he gets there, he's pretty much attacking that outside shoulder, trying to get his butt turned. And he gets to that point of attack to pretty much seal it off for this running back. And then he continues to get the movement. And this is one of the examples of him pretty much finishing blocks to the point. You would like a little bit more movement out of him, the pretty much, or a little bit more of a seal off, although he's trying to run with them there. That's pretty much what you're trying to see at most points in this. And that's pretty much what you're going to need out of him to pretty much go out and play like that and pretty much seal him on that edge. And that's just the ability of his great zone blocking that he has to be able to go out and seal that defender and create that path for that running back on the edge. So looking at this one, this is another one of his great pass sets that he has here with this quarterback creating time for him. Here, he's pretty much going to be one-on-one, and in this set, he's gonna see the edge pressure, and as soon as he sees that IQ of that edge pressure dropping, he does a great job of immediately looking inside, and you can see his quick feet there with that defender pretty much dropping that he's gonna go in and help on that inside gap. So we're gonna see it from this back angle here. Initially, he thinks that he has to get this guy right here because they're showing pretty much a mug with that linebacker in the middle, and they're showing this 5-man front. Pretty much what's going to happen is these guys are going to think that they're manned up. The running back's over here on this side, and he's going to pretty much watch inside out on a certain situation. So whenever he's already moving before the ball snapped, as you can see with that first step, he thinks that he's going to get this guy if he comes. This guy ends up dropping out. So you can see his footwork that he ends up with that initial kick. And as soon as he sees this guy stay and drop, he's coming straight down and helping on this inside gap. As you can see here right now. Boop. And then post steps back down to the defender, trying to shrug 74 back to the inside for help. And they pretty much pick it up and stonewall that guy. And he pretty much creates a clean pocket there. So moving on to this next one, he's still in at right tackle. And this is going to be one of his great plays that he has when he's working up to the second level. We're going to look at it here. This is pretty much just an inside zone concept. These two are going to be working down. They're going to be reading this edge defender, or this wing back's going to go and block them. And the tackle is pretty much protecting his inside gap with anybody that shows. Now, if this linebacker was to pretty much blitz this gap, he's going to pick him up. But no one shows, and they're comboing pretty much this Mike linebacker that's hugging the zero technique. And he's going to do a great job of not seeing any initial pressure. This guy goes outside, so he's going to immediately run up, keep his duck pretty much in his run fit with his short choppy steps, and pretty much climb up to that to that front side linebacker right here. So as you can see him, he gets that step, no one comes, and then he's working up right here because they're able to climb off on that middle linebacker. And boom, he's able to fit in on that play side linebacker. He seals him off for this inside zone. The running back pretty much has a clear run lane, and he's able to get about 8 yards on this because this guard does a great job of sealing the Mike linebacker, and Membou does a great job of pretty much getting up to the second level and sealing them off here. And that creates that lane, and that's a first-round pick right there. He's climbing up and blocking Jahad Campbell, who a lot of people see as a late first-round pick, and this is pretty much a great block that he's able to do and just keeps driving him right there and creates that 8-yard gain and that path for that running back. Looking at this next clip, this is another one of his pass sets. He's pretty much going to block Jahad Campbell that they're going to have off the edge here again, and they don't have any pressure. They're going to bring a late blitz right here. The running back's going to come across and pick up, and he's pretty much just going to be one-on-one on Campbell. And Campbell's playing a very wide 9 here, and he's kind of trying to anticipate him. Jahad Campbell's trying to get Membou to overset him and pretty much come all the way out here because he's in a wide 9 and beat him back on the inside. But Membou does a great job of keeping, pretty much his base in the middle of him. And whenever he tries to come straight at him or bull rush him, he uses his anchor very well here so that he doesn't get pushed back into the quarterback. So you can see him anchoring down right there on that defender. And he keeps that clean pocket for the quarterback to pretty much get it out, and he doesn't get bullied at the line of scrimmage, and he doesn't give up any ground. So you can see he has a strong anchor. Once he uses his hands and gets on him and is able to sit, then he's able to pretty much get that going with his strength. Here's another one, another pass set that's going to happen. This is his recovery skills that kind of, showed a little bit of weakness here. But I think he would have been able to pretty much get him down. Just the quarterback was able to get the ball out. So you can see here he's in that wide 9 again. So what he's trying to do again, like I said in the last clip, he's trying to get Membou to overset him way out here. And he's going to try to use the spin move to go back in. So as you can see here, Membou does get that set. He's keeping it in the middle of him. He's waiting for him to get in his zone so he can get his hands on him. And once he gets in him, he gives a great punch, gets his inside hand on that inside shoulder of the defender, keeps his hands on him. He is a little bit turned here. You would like him to be a little bit more straight and over. You don't want him to be as turned, creating the path. But whenever he's able to get his hands on him, Jihad Campbell tries to spin move back to the inside, and he's pretty much just going to post it down right here, and then the ball's already out. So he does a great job of pretty much just staying in front of Jihad Campbell there and not allowing him to pretty much make a move and bait him into trying to overset him. So here's another one for the outside zone look. He's gonna do a great job climbing here. Although you do see a little bit of his laziness coming out with him not pretty much working out to the second level. So here they're running this outside zone concept again. So pretty much all the offensive linemen are sprinting to the outside zone of to the right. And Membou here, he's gonna work for the reach on this edge, even though the edge is inside of him. Once he's able to pretty much combo this and let this guard take over, he's going to pretty much climb up to this play side linebacker again. And you can see here his great first step. He's already moving by the time the ball snapped. And he gets the seal on this inside guy. And then he's going to end up climbing and working up to that play side linebacker. He does get an initial push, although he is standing up a little bit. You do want to sink down low and stay low throughout this whole process. But once you see it here, you kind of see him give up on it and just kind of let the defender go after a little bit. He just kind of gives him an initial touch and has a little bit of a laziness and not willing to finish the play. He kind of just lets Campbell go and pretty much get a free hit on the running back. Once he locks up there and gets his hand on him, you want to see him be aggressive and punch and try to put 11 into the dirt. You want him to pretty much keep driving him all the way down. The running back was able to go and push him for a couple more yards. Membou should have locked up with him, drove him off the ball, and tried to pretty much pancake him right there, creating that gap for that running back just in case he breaks. But his laziness and a little bit of his run game, not being able to get, locked up with that second level defender and just kind of, just putting his hands on him does allow him to get a pretty much a free hit on that running back. So here on this one's going to show his pass set again and his IQ of seeing the stunt and the defender drop back. So initially, here again, they have a four-man show. So Membou thinks that he's going to have to block this whole wide nine way out here. The guard's going to have to block this. But he initially sees when he gets his first step, he sees the defender's pretty much going to stop and drop. So then once this defender drops, he's going to come back inside with a hard step. And this is just his amazing pass pro, amazing balance that he's able to take that quick kick step and immediately post down very quickly. So you can see here, he's coming out to the defender, sees that he drops and he's not coming, and then he's able to come back and pick this guy up even though that they were trying to stunt it, and he's able to pass it off to the guard and pick up that 3 technique that's coming across his face. So that's just the IQ that he's able to see with the guy that's trying to hold up and do the stunt. He sees that if a guy's not coming in his gap, that somebody's going to replace him. So it's this guy trying to come all the way over here to replace this guy that's going to try to loop around. So here's another pass set. Here's his recovery ability pretty much on the inside. This is his great job that he does that I was giving him praise for earlier with his recovery. So he gets a little bit too far outside on this defender. He does have his first step that he always has, gets his hands on him, but the defender ends up does getting across his face on this inside gap. But you're gonna see his recovery ability pretty much be able to run him straight down the line, and that's essentially what you want to do. If that defender gets across your face on the inside, you don't want to just let him go and hit the quarterback. You want to run him straight down this line upfield so that he can pretty much be taken out of this play. So you can see here, this defender, he's making the move to the inside, and Membou is able to recover and pretty much turn his body and get his hands on him, and he's going to run him straight upfield up to this line right there. And he creates that step up lane for that quarterback, so the quarterback doesn't see anything, and he's able to pretty much run out. So that's his pretty much amazing ability to pretty much see what's going on and be able to notice that, hey, I need to take him immediately inside. That's why I think that he's going to be a good guard, because a lot of the guards end up getting this done. If somebody's trying to come hard and slant inside, you're just going to run them out on the line of scrimmage upfield. So this one here is going to kind of show his ability of him leaning too much. So I know it's a short guarded situation and you want to get more weight on your front hand so that you can fire off. But he kind of locks up with the defender, and then he gets sideswiped, and he ends up on the ground. So this kind of shows him where he leans a little bit too much here. He kind of just gets thrown off by number 20, a smaller defender that he should be able to bully. And you're definitely gonna see him right here. He should be able to bully this guy and drive him straight off the ball, but him leaning too much, he kind of just gets thrown off and gets swiped. And number 20 is able to throw him off and put him on the ground because he's just leaning too much, and he ends up in this position where he's on the ground not blocking anybody because he's not staying balanced in the set, and he's not keeping his butt down and his chest up, and he's just trying to fire off and lean too much. You need to get a good run fit so you can drive your feet and pretty much move these guys off the ball. So here's another one of the outside zone. This is another great job that he's going to be seeing of his zone that he does. So he's over here. He's able to pretty much climb up to the second level, and he's able to seal it off as he does get thrown a little bit in his ability of leaning too much. But at that point, that's kind of fine in that outside zone. He sees that the guard's able to take the inside defender, and he's able to pretty much go and seal this edge that he's able to do, and the running back's able to go and get about 12 yards on this play because he's able to pretty much go and reach, attack his outside shoulder, do that push and pull technique where you're going to push with your right arm, with your outside arm, and pull with your left arm with the pin and pull, and you're able to pretty much reach him. But he does end up getting thrown because he's leaning too much and he's not as set, but that's fine. After you pretty much set the edge, it's going to be okay. Overall, my conclusion of Membou is I do think he's going to be a first-round prospect. I'm going to give him a B+. I gave Kelvin Banks an A-. I'm going to put him kind of on the same tier as Will Campbell. Him and Will Campbell kind of do similar things, although I do think Membou is a lot more technically sound than Campbell. Campbell just gets beat on the inside a little bit, so that's kind of my ranking of these three guys so far. But overall, I'm going to give him a B+. And I think he's going to be a very consistent player at the next level. I do think if he's going to be an all-pro player, it's going to be at the guard position. And I think he's going to be a way better guard. And a team that's going to draft him, I think, needs to put him on the interior at guard. I do think he could be a pretty good fit with the Bears. I think the Bears taking him and allowing him to be on the inside and being able to develop could be a great fit for him. I think the Cardinals could be another great fit for him, somewhere that he could play guard or tackle and be able to protect for Kyler Murray. And then another one, Seattle Seahawks is the popular pick right now, is obviously a great fit for him to either replace Lucas at right tackle slot or just be able to get more interior help in Seattle. But I do think whoever drafts him, they need to put him at guard and then just kind of moving him around. If an injury happens, he can play tackle, but his mainstay needs to be at either right or left guard. Probably right guard would be his best bet. But I think he's going to be a very consistent player. And over time, if he can get that run game down and being able to stay balanced in his run fits, because he already has that pass set down and his pass pro is very amazing with his IQ. I think he's going to be a great player in this league, and he deserves to go kind of in that teens area, that middle teens round that he's pretty much projected to go now. But that's going to be my conclusion on Membou. Please make sure to like the video, comment down below with anything that you agreed or disagreed with that I talked about, and make sure to keep up with my NFL content that I'm going to be releasing. Please subscribe to the channel for that so you can keep up with all those videos, and thanks for watching.
Yeah, feel like John Morant, need a triple-double, told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple, I don't draw the ball, now I never fumble, I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell, feel like John Morant, need a triple-double, told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple,